Joining me now is Democratic Congressman Jim Himes of Connecticut. Congressman, thanks for being here. So as Garrett just pointed out, this objection is now getting, in his words, professionalized with this 41-page memo. Do the Democrats have a strategy to push back on this messaging tomorrow? Do they feel like they need to?
Well, you know, of course we have a strategy, Katie, and our strategy is very simply to let the facts and the law speak for itself. And there is no ambiguity in the law here. The Congress of the United States doesn't and never in 240 years has had a decision-making role with respect to our elections. That is a power that is left to the states. And of course, all 50 states now have certified their electors. And what I find amusing about this, Katie, is that if a Democrat had proposed, and I understand that there were one or two Democrats who raised objections in years past, those objections were never met by senators who agreed to do it. And I remember watching Joe Biden gavel down objections. If any Democrat had ever suggested that the Congress should step in to validate a federal election, my Republican colleagues would have burned this place down. So our strategy is let's look to the law, let's look to the facts. And the facts, of course, are very important because I'm glad that Jim Jordan put on paper that he thinks there's evidence. You haven't seen evidence. I haven't seen evidence. 60 courts in the land have seen no evidence. By the way, 60 courts haven't heard Rudy Giuliani or any of the lunatic fringe lawyers that are doing the president's work here say that there was corruption. And the reason for that is that you can't lie to a judge. You can't say to a judge there's evidence because then the judge says, show me the evidence. And if you can't do that, you lose your license. Maybe you wind up in jail. But of course, Ted Cruz and other ambitious presidential wannabes who are stoking the allegations, see this as a way to get in with Donald Trump's base so that they are front runners for the presidential election in 2024. And the cost that this country will pay is millions of Americans who, because of people like Donald Trump and Ted Cruz and his gang of senators, are going to lose faith in our democracy, in our electoral system.
Put the election aside, Americans already didn't have a lot of faith in Congress's ability to legislate and to govern. Given what we are seeing now, what's the likelihood that we're going to see bipartisan cooperation in the next 4 years or ever again? Is it too cynical to say that what we're seeing now is just a complete breakdown of the party's ability to work together?
Well, Katie, it's really important that we keep two things separate here. One is that the beautiful thing about this building, the Congress of the United States, is that we have arguments over different visions of what America should look like. Democrats like me tend to say, let's, assist people with education, with food. Let's raise taxes if we need to do it to pay for it. My Republicans say, friends say, let's have a smaller government and not do that stuff. And let's cut lots of taxes. That's a very fair debate. That's what we're here to do. But we can't in any way confuse what is a fair and robust and constructive debate with deliberate attempts driven by personal ambition, delusion, and this Trump mania that people like Jim Jordan have been subject to for the last 4 years to attack the underpinnings of our democracy, because that's what's happening here. So we need to keep those two things separate. Now, what I hope happens after January 20th is that those who were happy to erode our democracy for their own personal ambition pay some sort of electoral price for it. But I also hope that under the leadership of new President Joe Biden, who is very much about outreach and about being president for all Americans, that we do come together to, in a civil and constructive way, have those good debates and then compromise. Again, nobody gets a medal, nobody gets a statue because you compromise. But everything we get done in this country happens because people are willing to compromise. And I think Joe Biden is the kind of personality that is going to push America and the Congress in that direction.